Imagine a world where you are part of a community that sees you for all that you bring and propels you to become your very best self. A world where everyone is valued for what they bring and everyone gets the support they need. Savor Exchange brings this dream to reality by empowering individuals, communities, and organizations with the right tools and resources to change the world. We do this by organizing people near and far around a goal or project and bringing them together and measuring their success. Our data analytical reports will provide information to support transparency and critical needs in today's world. The SavorX app acts as a secure bridge to multiple communities, including those defined by you, and allows everyone within their community to contribute time through service and request help for themselves. Members can also donate service credits, money, or goods back to their community. Go to www.savorxapp.com to learn more and start your Savor community today.
Welcome. I'm Kevin Hauber. I've been practicing yoga for over 20 years, and I share my practice, which is primarily a restorative practice, now taking that online. So thank you for joining me and us virtually. We're going to go through a practice with a number of different elements that you can choose from. If you have props available to you, it'd be helpful to have props like a tennis ball, a block, a bolster, all things that can be helpful to you. You can practice in a number of different positions. If you need to adjust, please feel free to take anything that we're doing and adjust it to what you need. So let's get started. We're going to start with a little bit of point release work. So take a tennis ball and come laying down. You can leave the knees bent if that's a little more comfortable for your low back. Start in the right shoulder, right at the base of the neck where it fans out into the shoulder in that trapezius area. And then come on to the ball. You can stay on one spot or move around, open into the shoulder. Arms can be crossed at the chest or open to the sides, whatever feels best for your shoulders. And so breathe around the ball and let it start to create some space in that right shoulder. And breathe. And let's go ahead and release that spot. Come down a couple inches between the shoulder blade and the spine on the right into the rhomboid area. And again, you can stay on one spot if that's a good one, or move around on the ball. Inner shoulder blade wrapping around the ball. Arms can be open to the side again or crossed at the chest, hanging out on one spot or moving around. Breathe behind the shoulder blade. And let's go ahead and release that spot. Come on down to the bottom rib on the right side. And you can work along that bottom rib, along the back of the diaphragm, breathing into it. A lot of times you can feel things radiating down into the low back from here, maybe even up into the rib cage. Work along that bottom rib, back of the third chakra. And keep breathing. And then go ahead and release there. Come on down to the base of the low back, the lumbosacral area, just right of center, where the lumbar spine meets the sacrum. Again, find a good spot or an area to move around on or hang out on. Lots of stuff gets stored down here in the low back. So breathe into it and see if you can create some space and some movement. And go ahead and release. Come on out just a bit into the sacroiliac joint area on the right. The SI is where the top corner of the sacrum meets the crest of the hip. This is like the keystone of the spine. And typically right above or below that SI joint, there's lots of good stuff to work with, maybe even along the right edge of the sacrum. Sacrum is that upside down triangle resting in the hips. Breathe into that. Back of the second chakra. Making some space, creating some opening. And then releasing there, come on out to the outer hip on the right. And find a good spot or a good area to work with in the outer hip. Breathe. And let's go ahead and release on the outer hip on the right. Bring the ball over into the left shoulder now, into that trapezius area at the base of the neck where it starts to fan out into the shoulder. And again, finding a spot or an area to work with. Arms can be open to the side, arms can be crossed at the chest. Breathing around the ball. And go ahead and release. Come on down a couple inches between the shoulder blade and the spine on the left side into that rhomboid area behind the heart. And breathe into that. Again, letting the shoulder blade wrap around the ball. Hanging out on one spot or moving around. Back of the fourth chakra, back of the heart. And release. Come on down to the bottom rib on the left side. Working along that bottom rib, along the back of the diaphragm. Breathe into it. Notice the areas where there may be restriction or soreness. And let's go ahead and release there at the back of the third chakra, coming down to the lumbosacral area now on the left, just left of center, where the lumbar spine meets the sacrum. And find a good spot to release, or moving around gently on the ball. And releasing there, coming out just to the left SI joint, where the top corner of the sacrum meets the crest of the hip, working above or below that SI joint, maybe along the left edge of the sacrum. And release, coming out to the left into the outer hip area, and working around, finding good spots to work with there. And breathe into it. And go ahead and release. And set the ball off to the side. If you want to do a little bit of bridge work before we sit up, and if you've got a block, use that. Otherwise, just do a regular bridge. But if you've got a block, bring the block under the sacrum, supporting it fully without pinching in the low back, and then straighten the legs. If you're in regular bridge pose, just stay with the knees bent. But otherwise, supported bridge, opening the front of the body. Variations you can try here, raising one leg and release, raising the other and release. You can raise both legs, balance on the sacrum, open the legs wide, stretch into the adductors, the inner thighs, breathing, lengthening out through the heels. And you bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. And then straighten the legs once again, straight up. Gently releasing, exhale. And coming all the way down, bending the knees once again, pressing up, and release. And the block, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time. Sacrum comes down last. Hug the knees into the chest. Roll side to side across the low back. And then release, roll off to one side, come on up to seated. So let's do some seated poses together. A little bit of stretching, a little bit of movement for the spine. Start to get things opened up. So whatever form of cross-legged's best for you. If you need to modify in any way, go ahead and do that. Bring the hands to the knees. Inhale, come tall, lengthen through the back of the neck and the crown of the head. Exhale, ground all the way down into the sits bones. Find your balance in the pelvis. And find extension in the spine. Breathing space into the body, letting the bone structure of the body support itself, minimal muscular effort. And with an inhale, come tall. And with an exhale, gaze over one shoulder, let the opposite fingertips come to the cheekbone and help the turn. Breathe into the neck and down into the shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And release, come back to center, inhale tall. Exhale, lean to the side. And then let the fingertips come to the opposite cheekbone once again and lift without pressing the head to the side. Just create lengthened space down into the neck. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And lift. And release. Back to center. Bring the hands under the upper thighs. Bring a little bit of weight onto the palms and come tall. Exhale, lean the head to one side. And then play with the tilt forward and back. See if you can find a good spot for release. Neck, shoulder, upper arm. Breathe into it. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And play with the tilt, forward and back. And release, back to center. Hands come to the knees once again. Inhale, come tall. Exhale, release the shoulders and the ribs and the organs. Let it all hang from the extended spine. Inhale, come tall again. Exhale, let the chin come forward and then start circling the top of the head. Keep the neck long on all sides as you circle. Breathe into the neck, particularly into the sore spots or anything that's stiff. Allow some breath and space into the neck and even down into the shoulders. And pause at the center line, reverse the direction. Last one. And pause at the center line, release. Back to neutral. Bring the hands to the creases of the thighs. We'll roll the shoulders, so inhale up the front of the body, over the top, exhale down the back. And following the breath as you roll the shoulders. And last one, this direction. Pause at the bottom and turn the hands over. Inhale up the back, over the top, exhale down the front. Last one. And release at the bottom. So let's change crossing of the legs. Even up on the seated posture a little bit. Inhale, come tall. Exhale, ground through the hips. And with the next inhale, open across the heart. Let the arms and the hands expand to the sides. Exhale, one hand down to the mat, the other hand overhead. Gaze up under the upper arm. Fingertips extend, palm down. Open between the ribs and into the low back. Grounding through the hips. And breathe. And inhale, center. Exhale, other side. And then follow the breath, side to side. Inhale, center, exhale to one side. Inhale through center once again. Exhale to the other, following the breath. Back to center. And then inhale, the hands together overhead, let the palms touch. Exhale, twist. Gaze over one shoulder. Open across the back of the shoulder and let the twist carry all the way down the spine. And inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other side. And then following the breath, inhale through center, exhale, twist one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other. Following the breath. Last one. Coming back to center. And then release the hands behind, interlace the fingers and extend through the elbows, open across the heart. And if it's available to you, exhale and fold at the hips. Draw the arms and the hands overhead. You can rock side to side. Inhaling up, and release. One arm comes across the body, draw it in with the opposite hand. Breathe into the outer shoulder. And release, other side. And release. Bring the hands to the knees. Turn the elbows forward slightly. Come tall. Exhale, fold and twist to one side. Bring the shoulder forward as you do. Inhale up. Exhale, fold and twist. Other side. Inhale up. And folding and twisting side to side. Last one. Inhale, come tall. Exhale, scoop out the belly and round the back, and then start to rotate the torso on top of the hips, inhaling around in front, exhaling around and back. Breathe into the low back, especially into sore, resistive, stiff spots. Breathing as you rotate. Pausing at the center line, reverse the direction. Last one. Pause at the center line, release, back to neutral. Okay, let's do a little bit of twisting, and then we'll do some standing poses. So bring your left heel to your right hip, bring the right foot outside of that bent left knee, open across the heart. Exhale, twist to the right, hooking the knee as you do. Breathe down through the spine, open across the back of the shoulders. And see if you can draw the navel across the center line of the body. If you want to add a degree of challenge here, catch the big toe with the hand. Take the ball of the foot back toward the mat. And release. Other side. Right heel comes to left hip. Left foot outside the bent knee. Open across the heart. And now twist to the left. Hooking the outside of the knee. Draw across the center line with the twist. Breathe into the low back. Open across the back of the shoulders. And you can catch the big toe. And release. Okay, let's do some standing poses. So for standing poses, front foot in line with the mat, back foot at 45 degrees. Heel of the front foot points at the arch of the back foot. Come to the hips, turn the hips to face forward, and then bend the front knee so it's directly over the ankle, letting the bones support you. Feel the stretch in the front of the hips on the right, and then drop the hands. Inhale, the hands overhead, warrior one. Relax across the shoulders, let them open while the fingertips extend. And breathe. And then bring the hands together. Down the center line of the body, turn to the right side, sink into the pose, and then open across the heart. Let the arms and the hands open front and back as an extension of the heart. Turn the palms to face down. Gaze over the front fingertips. Warrior two. Breathing here, feel the grounding, the root chakra through the legs into the earth. Feel the opening of the heart, front and back. Spine stacked vertically. Make sure you're not leaning too far forward or too far back. Find that center point where the body supports itself naturally. And now straighten the front leg, take the hips back, fingertips come forward, and then rotate into trikonasana, triangle pose. You can use the block if you like, inside of the foot, Breathing. Extension up and down across the heart, grounding through the legs. Breathe into the low back. And then rotate the triangle, right hand coming to shin block or mat. And then releasing the rotated triangle, setting the block aside, fingertips to the mat. Inhale long in the spine, exhale, fold over that straightened front leg. And then inhale up, walk the fingertips out a little further, and then raise the back leg, folding over the front leg into standing splits. And if you want to open this into star. And then releasing the hand and the foot back down to the mat. Bring the left elbow to the left knee. Right arm by the bicep, palm down, extend through the fingertips, side angle. You can do the open variation with the hands straight up and down. And then inhale up. Sun warrior. And with your next inhale, coming back to warrior two. And find your grounding through the legs once again, opening across the heart, front and back, gazing over the front fingertips. And then coming to mountain pose, hands to the heart in namaste. And then we'll turn for the other direction, stepping back with the left foot, right foot forward this time. Back foot's at 45 degrees, front foot in line with the mat. Bring the hands to the hips, rotate, turn the hips to face front, bend the knee so it's directly over the ankle. Feel the stretch into the front of the hips on the left. Drop the hands, inhale, warrior one. Breathe and relax across the shoulders while the fingertips extend. And bringing the hands together down the center line, turning to the left this time. Find your grounding through the legs into the earth, and then open across the heart. Extend front and back, turn the palms to face down, gaze over the front fingertips. Warrior two. And then straightening the front leg, hips come back, fingertips come forward, rotate into triangle. And do it this time without the block so you can see that variation. Breathing. Extending the heart energy up and down, grounding through the legs. And then rotating the triangle. Left hand coming down inside, right arm rotating upward. And release. Fingertips either side of the front foot. Inhale, come long. Exhale, fold over the straightened front leg. Inhale, coming tall. Lengthen the spine. Walk the fingertips out just a bit in front. And then raise the back leg, fold over the front leg, standing splits. And if you want to open that up into star. And then releasing down, hand and foot, bend the front knee, right elbow to the right knee, left arm, bicep by the ear, extending through the fingertips, side angle. Open variation with the arms up and down. And then inhaling up into Sun Warrior. Next inhale, come on up. Warrior 2. Breathing and grounding. And stepping forward. Mountain pose. Hands in namaste at the heart. Find your balance through the feet. Grounding all the way into the earth. And release. Okay, let's come onto our backs then once again. Bring the legs up into a tabletop position, knees at 90 degrees, hips at 90 degrees. And then let's start to circle the knees, working around the low back and the sacrum as you do. Feel the core engage as you circle the knees. And notice at what point the core engages as the circles get larger. Just play on the edge of that. And pause at the center line, reverse the direction. Back to center. And now exhale, both legs together to the right. Breathe into the low back and the outer hip and the outside of the leg. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Breathing low back, outer hip, outside of the leg. Inhale through center. Now follow the breath side to side. Exhaling to one side. Inhaling through center to the other. Follow the breath. Last one. Come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest once again. Rock side to side. Cross the low back. And release. Bring the feet to the mat, hip width apart. And now take the knees side to side in a windshield wiper motion. Last one. Then come back to center. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the arms near the sides with the palms up in a receptive position. Breathe the length of the body all the way down through the torso into the hips and the legs. And we'll transition into Savasana. You can stay in this Supta Baddha Konasana if you like, or you can straighten the legs into corpse pose. Your option. We'll spend a few moments in Savasana, breathing. And when the attention begins to wander, just gently bring it back to center, back to the breath. Breathing and integrating. Feel the breath flowing up and down the body. And then rolling off to the right side. And let the right arm support the head and the neck. And then pressing the hands into the mat, come back to seated. Whatever form of cross-legged is best for you. Hands can be folded in the lap, gently resting on the knees, your option. Find the grounding through the sits bones into the earth once again. And inhale, lengthen up the spine, lengthen through the back of the neck and the crown of the head. Exhale, let the shoulders and the ribs relax. And ground once again. And breathing up and down the spine. Then bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, open across the heart. Let the arms and the hands expand out to the sides, extending the heart energy. Exhale, let the shoulders relax. Inhale, bring the hands together overhead. Let the palms touch. Exhale, draw down the center line, trace the chakras beginning at the crown, the third eye, the throat chakra, the heart, solar plexus, second chakra below the navel, root chakra at the perineum. Inhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Breathe into your heart. Thank you for your practice of yoga today. May it bless you throughout this day. May it bless you throughout this week. May it be a blessing to all beings you come in contact with. Namaste. Thank you for practicing today.